At least 21 dead in ferry sinking in northern Sudan's River Nile State. Police identify 18-year-old as suspects in Tumbler Ridge shooting. Court appointed lawyer says Imran Khan loses most vision in right eye in detention. And backlash grows as Manchester United co-owner Ratcliffe's immigration remarks spark outrage. Good afternoon. Welcome to the World in 30 Minutes on Politics and Business Television. I am Omike Joseph Matthew. Many thanks for joining us. Details of this news, news story, and more come your way after the short break. At least 21 people have drowned while others remain missing after a passenger ferry sank onto the Nile in northern Sudan's River Nile State, civil defense officials have said in the war-ravaged nation. The Sudanese Sovereignty Council issued a press statement mourning the death of 21 people, including women and children. Police Major General Qurashi Hussein, Sudan's Assistant Director General of Civil Defense, told Al Jazeera on Thursday that 6 or 7 people had been rescued, while efforts were continuing to recover about a dozen people believed missing. The wooden passenger ferry had been carrying 30 to 35 passengers, including women, elderly people, and children, when it sank on Wednesday evening while traveling between the villages of Tayba, al-Khawad, and Deim, al-Qarai in the Shendi district of River Nile State, Hussein said. Hussein added that teams had been sent from Khartoum, the Sudanese capital, to assist with the operation, with all civil defense teams in River Nile State being mobilized to search for the missing. An 18-year-old has been named as a suspect in a shooting that killed 8 people and injured dozens more in British Columbia, Canada. Police said Jason Van Rootseller was found dead at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot injury. The motive for the attack is not yet known. 6 people were killed and at least 25 others were injured at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. 2 others, the suspect's mother and stepbrother, were found dead at a nearby home. Hundreds of mourners gathered to exchange comfort and moments of silence in Tumbler Ridge's main square and outside the British Columbia legislature in Victoria on Wednesday night. Police said they had attended the suspect's family home on multiple occasions over the past several years, with some calls related to mental health concerns. Authorities said Van Rootseller was born a biological male, but identified as a woman. Still on gun violence, a school principal shot by a gunman who laid siege to the institute in southern Thailand has died in hospital, authorities said. Sisafat Sinsamusun and a female student were shot by the 18-year-old man who entered the school near the city of Hathie shortly before 5 p.m. local time on Wednesday. Sisafat died of her injuries before dawn on Thursday, local police said. The student who was shot is in stable condition. Another student who jumped out of a window during the siege is also still in hospital, police said. The gunman was arrested after a 2-hour standoff that saw a number of students and teachers trapped in the Phantom Prantan Kiruwat school building. The motive for the attack remains unclear, although local media reports suggest the suspects may have had a grievance with a teacher at the school. In a Facebook post, the school expressed its deepest condolences over the principal's death. Levels of gun crime are relatively high in Thailand, where gun ownership, both legal and illegal, is widespread. The country has seen several deadly incidents in recent years. A court-appointed lawyer has said that former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who is currently in jail, has lost most of his vision in his right eye after his health complaints were allegedly ignored for 3 months. According to the lawyer, Khan now has only 15% vision left in that eye, raising fresh concerns about his treatment in detention. Barrister Salman Safdar, appointed by Pakistan's Supreme Court as a friend of the court, met with Khan for 2 hours on February 10 and also inspected the prison facility. He later submitted a 7-page report to the court describing the 73-year-old's declining health and continued isolation since his imprisonment in August 2023 on multiple charges. The report states that Khan repeatedly complained of blurred and hazy vision while under the supervision of a former jail official, but no action was taken. Safdar wrote that Khan eventually suffered a sudden and complete loss of sight in his right eye. A medical report dated February 6, 2026 diagnosed him with right central retinal vein occlusion, a serious eye condition that can cause permanent vision loss. Votes are being counted in Bangladesh after its first election since student-led protest ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, in 2024. More than 2,000 candidates are vying for 356 in parliament, though none from the banned Awami League of Hasina, who fled after 15 years in power after a brutal security crackdown in which hundreds of protesters were killed. The election pits the center-right Bangladesh Nationalist Party against a coalition led by the Islamist Jamaat al-Islami, which joined forces with the party born out of the student uprising. Results are expected on Friday, and there is widespread hope among voters of a return to democracy. For the first time since 2008, the outcome of an election in Bangladesh cannot be predicted with certainty. The past few elections were widely condemned as systematically rigged in favor of Sheikh Hasina. Now convicted and sentenced to death in absentia for ordering the brutal crackdown against protesters 18 months ago, in which the UN says as many as 1,400 protesters were killed. Hasina is in exile in India, from where she's rejected the charges against her and has questioned the legitimacy of the election. Turnout had reached 49% by 2 p.m. local time, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting told a British medium. Nearly 1 million police and soldiers have been deployed to maintain law and order. Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara and 2 of his senior cabinet ministers were the target of 5 foiled assassination attempts by ISIL over the past year, according to a report by the United Nations. The document, released on Wednesday by the UN Office of Counter-Terrorism, underscores the persistent threat posed by the armed group, which is reportedly using front organizations to destabilize Syria's transitional government. According to the report, the assassination plot targeted al-Shara, Interior Minister Anas Hassan Khattab, and Foreign Minister Assab al-Shabani. While the UN did not provide specific dates for the foiled attacks, it noted they took place in northern Aleppo, the country's most populous province, and the southern province of Deira. You're still watching The World in 30 Minutes live on Politics and Business Television. Now, still to come, backlash grows as Manchester United co-owner Ratcliffe's immigration remarks spark outrage. Stay with us. Welcome back, and it's nice to know that you're still there. Manchester United co-owner Jim Ratcliffe is facing strong criticism after saying the United Kingdom had been colonized by immigrants. He made the comment during an interview with Sky News, where he also suggested that high levels of immigration had harmed the country's economy. His remarks have been widely condemned for fueling racial tension. Politicians, campaigners, and football fan groups reacted quickly. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Bonham described Ratcliffe's comment as inaccurate, insulting, and inflammatory. He called on the billionaire to withdraw the statement, saying it wrongly portrayed immigrants as a hostile invading force. Bonham pointed out that many immigrants have contributed positively to Manchester, including international footballers and workers in the National Health Service and other essential sectors. He also criticized Ratcliffe, who lives in Monaco, suggesting he had taken wealth from the club while contributing little to local life. Justice Minister Jake Richards also rejected the comments, calling them absurd during a BBC interview. Meanwhile, protests against Manchester United's ownership are expected to grow. The Manchester United Muslim Supporters Club expressed outrage, saying Ratcliffe's use of the word colonized echoed far-right narratives that describe migrants as invaders. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un has selected his daughter as his heir, South Korea's spy agency told lawmakers on Thursday. Kim Jong-a, who is believed to be 13, has in recent months been pictured beside her father in high-profile events like a visit to Beijing in September, her first known trip abroad. The National Intelligence Service said it took a range of circumstances into account, including her increasingly prominent public presence at official events, in making this assessment. The NIS also said it would keep close tabs on whether she will attend the North Party Congress later this month, its largest political event that is held once every 5 years. The party Congress is where Pyongyang is expected to give more details about priorities like foreign policy, war planning, and nuclear ambitions for the next 5 years. On Thursday, lawmaker Lincoln Quinn told reporters that Jong-a, who was previously described by the NIS as being trained to be a successor, was now at the stage of successor designation. And Chinese President, Xi Jinping has made a rare public reference to a recent crackdown which saw the country's top military general removed. General Zhang Yunzi, who was widely seen as Xi's closest military ally, was removed from his post in January. He was accused of serious violation of discipline and law, typically an euphemism for corruption. Speaking in a virtual address on Tuesday, Xi said the past year had been unusual and extraordinary, adding that the army had undergone revolutionary tempering in the fight against corruption. Since coming to power, President Xi has launched waves of anti-corruption drives, which critics say have also been used as a tool to purge political rivals. In his remarks on Tuesday, Xi also added that the People's Liberation Army had effectively addressed various risks and challenges, adding that many in the army had gone through in-depth political rectification. He also said that PLA troops had been loyal to the party and proven themselves capable. That PLA troops had been loyal to the party